Tingles with flyby. Daily ASMR videos. Hello, my tinglings. I had a request from one of my tinglings to do something for Mental Health Awareness Month. So I'm super happy to do something to bring awareness to this. When I looked it up, I actually found out that in Australia and quite a few places, mental health awareness is done in October. So I may do something then, but there's an organization that's been doing Mental Health Awareness Month since 1949 in the US, so that's why we will be talking about mental health this month. So I'm going to have this video where it's going to kind of have two parts. So the first part, I'm going to be reading these experiences from different people of what mental illness feels like. And so there's a hashtag, which is hashtag mental illness feels like. And so if you have something that you want to contribute to that conversation, obviously you can use that. But this comes from themighty.com. I'll put the link in the description where I've gotten this all from, so that you can know that. And then the second part is going to be just going through some myths about mental illness and facts, the actual facts. So let's just start. I have 23 little descriptions of what mental illness feels like. So this is from Kristen George. Mental illness feels like you're losing control of you. You don't know who you truly are because this disease controls you and takes over your emotions. It lies to you and tells you you are worthless. You wonder if the things that you do are your personality or your disease. And on top of all these oppressing feelings, society stigmatizes us as violent individuals because of the publicized actions of one or two people with mental illnesses. Very few of us are actually like that, yet that is how we are treated if we are ever to reveal our mental illness. Next comes from Megadeepa Mighty. Mental health is the struggle to nurse your deepest wounds in secret, because you don't want to give the world another chance to discriminate against you. Mental illness feels like you're trapped in a reality that's not your own. Mental illness is the contamination of all that was pure to you. Mental illness is the struggle to adapt to the changed person that you become and having no way to know which one is you. Mental illness is waking up every day from the same nightmares, waking up to another nightmare. Mental illness is the fervent wish to escape this world, but feeling too fatigued to kill yourself. Mental illness is the sudden realization that the years have passed and you're still alive and miracles really do happen. This next one comes from Sarah Noel. Mental illness feels like a crushing stone on my chest, making it hard to breathe. It makes me feel trapped, not being able to stop the flood of past memories or the continual cycle over in my head of conversations I've recently had. It makes me hopeless, alone, scared of myself, scared of everyone else, helpless, embarrassed, and ashamed. That's where I have a therapist who helps me in those dark times and reminds me it's gonna take one day at a time, and sometimes one moment at a time, to walk through this and learn to manage. And from Katie Neds, mental illness is faking a smile so others around you don't know. It's forcing yourself to get out of bed in the morning, because if you don't, your anxiety will kick in. It's hating to be alone, but not having the energy to hang out with others. It's having plain exhaustion, but being unable to sleep. It's a constant battle with yourself every day to just keep pushing forward and hoping for something better. This comes from Jennifer Davis. Mental illness feels like your worst enemy resides in your head, constantly telling you lies about yourself until one day you believe them. From Trina P. Graves. Mental illness feels like a bad dream, and how you feel without sleeping for days. It feels like you're trying to scream for help, but your voice isn't coming out. Feels like you're trying to dial 911, but your fingers can't push the right damn buttons. Mental illness feels like a kid who sits by himself while every other little boy and girl is smiling and playing around you. Mental illness feels like no one wants to feel what mental illness feels like. This is from Emily Kovich. Mental illness feels like I'm not living but just existing. It keeps me from leading a fulfilling life because I'm always overwhelmed with crippling emotions. My depression makes me feel like I'm a burden, lost, worthless, and even suicidal at times. My anxiety leaves me feeling isolated, worried, and unnecessarily worries, and I can't get ahead in my life. My mental illness has led me into an alcohol addiction, which I am now in outpatient treatment for. Mental illness is different for everyone, but we are all fighting the same fight. This is from Marlena Davis. It is so hard to be calm on the outside when you have so much going on inside when you live with mental illness. This is from Maddie Grimes. Mental illness feels like isolation. Even if you have plenty of friends and loved ones, your mind tries to deceive you that you are unwanted, unloved, and unnecessary. It feels like 1,000 thoughts of self-doubt and self-pity hitting you all at once, all the while trying to paste on a smile and act like you're fine and happy and normal. Because if you aren't fine and happy and normal, people treat you differently. They see you differently. It is isolating. Kristen Plummer. Mental illness feels like trying to breathe underwater. It's like you're constantly drowning and nobody can ever save you. This comes from Tamara Lavoie. Mental illness feels like an unstoppable hamster wheel in your mind. It is a paradox feeling of feeling the need to do everything, yet having no energy, desire, or confidence to do so. This comes from Andre DaCosta. Mental illness feels like doubting everything around you, even yourself. Unable to trust your doctor, your friends, your family, etc. You can only listen to the intrusive voices in your head. Tells you that you're sick, you're dying, you don't deserve happiness. Constant battle with my mind every day. This comes from Lake Grady. Mental illness to me is like being stuck in a cage of isolation, fear, and self-doubt. Only the cage door appears to open for everyone else. From Janice Schmader. Mental illness feels like paddling upstream. Making a little headway is exhausting, and it is so tempting to stop paddling and just flow with the current. From Tara Strickland. Recovery from mental illness feels like trying to put together a puzzle, but all the pieces are from completely different puzzles. Nothing fits, nothing works right, and it seems that the best it'll ever get is barely put together, but still a jumbled mess. From Vanessa Hauser. Mental illness feels like being the only person who you know experiencing your chaos. Because we don't talk about it, we all assume everyone is okay. It's like judging a book by its cover. No one really knows unless you open up to them about it. Even when you do open up, most people do not experience mental illness. Most people who do not experience mental illness can't comprehend what you are struggling with. It's something that takes work to manage every single day. From Pauline Price. Mental illness feels like a thick fog, always gray. You can hear those around you, but can't see them or care to see them. No matter where you go, you're still surrounded by the fog. It's so thick you can feel its weight pushing you down. It never lets you feel happy. It never lets you sleep. It can even make you think you see or hear things that aren't there. It is relentless and never ending. This comes from Isabella Aurora. Mental illness feels like you're fighting an invisible war constantly. Thing is, you're in this war and you can't tell where the next attack is going to come from, or even when. This is from Maria Agro. Mental illness is wanting to cover your eyes, close them tight, or look away from your life, but at the same time wanting to see as you try to cope, afraid if you don't, you'll become invisible. This comes from Kim Kempkes. Mental illness feels like my brain has a life of its own. It twists and turns in my skull. I have no control, but I hang on to just enough of the outside world to pretend I'm okay. This is from Elizabeth Ann. Have you ever been caught in a riptide? You're supposed to go with the current, tread water. Try not to panic or you'll lose the only fresh air. People yelling for you, but you can't respond and their voices are far away. Feels like that, if that makes any sense. This comes from Trish Ashley. Mental illness feels like drowning above water. You can see the air. You can feel it brush across your skin, but you can't use it. Its purpose in life has been thwarted by your everlasting pain, the suffocation. So close to the air touching your lungs. You know its powers. You know you need it. You want it. You can't take it in because you're drowning. You're drowning above water. No one can save you. They can't see you're drowning. There's no water surrounding you to stop the air from getting to your lungs. All they see is the access to the air you need. You have what you need. You shall need nothing more. However, they don't know that you're drowning above water. Slowly drowning. It gets harder with each desperate gasp. It's not enough. Just one breath. Please, leave me to breathe. I don't want to drown where no one can see. They don't know to help. They don't understand. How can you drown above water? It's just like drowning underwater, only there's no barrier surrounding you like the darkness of water. What's surrounding you is your own darkness. Your own darkness, sadness, worthlessness is what's drowning you. It's drowning you above water. And our final one comes from Annie Sims. Mental illness feels like nothing at all and not knowing how to explain it. It's having a constant battle with your mind every single day and giving it everything you have to overcome it and make it to tomorrow. So we have 6 myths to address here. I'm going to give you some facts because I think there are a lot of misperceptions about mental illness and just about it. Myth. Mental illness is something that only happens to other people. The facts are that 1 in 4 American adults suffers from a diagnosable mental disorder in any given year. So that's not saying, 7 years ago. That's every single year. 1 in 4 American adults suffers from a mental disorder. Approximately 9 million children in the U.S. have serious emotional problems, but only 1 in 5 of these children is receiving appropriate treatment. Children and adults alike experience a variety of mental health issues, from attention deficit hyperactivity disorder to postpartum depression to bipolar disorder. Second myth. Mental illness can't be treated. You're ill for life. Not only is treatment available, but full recovery is possible. Today we are learning how to prevent mental illness and promote mental awareness. With support and treatment, between 70 and 90% of individuals have a significant reduction in symptoms and improved quality of life. Myth. My son or daughter is acting out, but that's just part of being a kid. Facts. Research shows that half of all mental disorders start by age 14 and 3/4 start by age 24. But an average of 6 to 8 years pass after the onset of mood disorder symptoms, 9 to 23 years for anxiety disorder symptoms, before young people get help. Myths. People who have been diagnosed with mental illnesses are dangerous and should be avoided. And this is a really important one to pay attention to these facts, because it is a huge part of a lot of our perceptions. The facts are that mental illness accounts for, at most, 3% of all violence committed in the U.S. So if you're considering that 1 in 4 people have a mental illness in any given year, and only 3% is explained by mental illness. People with serious mental health challenges are more likely to be victims of violence than perpetrators. More than 25% of people with severe mental illness report being victims of a violent crime within a given year, a rate nearly 12 times higher than that of the general population. Myths. I don't discriminate against people who are diagnosed with a mental illness, but I don't want to live or work near them. In addition to being unfair and ethically unacceptable, it is also illegal to deny someone any rights due to their real or perceived mental illness. The American with Disabilities Act of 1990 made it illegal for employers or public services to discriminate against someone living with a mental illness. The Fair Housing Act, Title 8 of the Civil Rights Act of 1968, made it illegal for landlords or other real estate entities to discriminate against someone living with a mental illness. And our final myth is, I'm not a psychiatrist. I can't make a difference for a person living with a mental health challenge. The facts are that many people say that stigma and discrimination can be a bigger challenge to their quality of life than their mental health challenges are. You can help end stigma by openly accepting people who are diagnosed with a mental illness in your work and in your community. You are in a unique position to give people who are living with mental health challenges what they, like anyone else, truly deserves: a job, a lease, a public service, or simply respectful conversation that helps them live a full and productive life. And I know that many of you know that my love does live daily with his mental health challenges, and I've spoken to many of my tinglings who do as well, so I have personal experience with people with quite severe mental health issues. And I just want to say to everyone that I know that voice in the head is there telling you that you're worthless or that you may not have worth, but I want you to know that I care about you and that you are a person. And I hope that we all together can create a lovely cocoon of care around those people affected by mental illnesses in our lives. So, just take the opportunity this month to learn a bit more about mental illness, mental health, what you can do to help your own mental health and help those around you. So, thanks for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye, my tinglings. If you're still awake, thank you for watching this video. Hit the subscribe button down below so that you can be the first to see tomorrow's ASMR video. Yes, I do a daily ASMR video just for you. Hit the thumbs up button if you liked this video so that you can come back and watch it again and again and again. And be sure to comment down below for your chance to be featured in my monthly viewers appreciation video on the 25th. You can comment about this video, or you could comment about a problem you're having in your life. I just want to hear from you. I do reply to all genuine comments, so I look forward to chatting with you down in the comments.